Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings. Y'all come on in, come on in. Let me make sure I get my sound together, make sure everything is set up for this live. Y'all come on in, come on in. Let's get started with today's topic, which is going to be the 7-day fruit and salad challenge. That's going to be our topic for today. We're going to break down the ins and outs of it. That way everyone that's participating can understand what the challenge is all about, and understand how to proceed as we move forward throughout this process. So come on in, come on in. We're going to be breaking this down, and also we're going to talk about the ebook as well. I got it right here on my tablet. So as you guys are coming in, if you do have another device, definitely feel free to pull it up on your second device. That way, as we go through it and talk about some of the key topics that are in there, we can all be on the same page and keep moving forward. So as we wait for a few more people to come in, I guess I'll give you guys an update on my mom. A lot of people have been following my mom and her fasting journey. She's on her blood pressure intervention journey. Today is day 8 of the journey and day 7 of her water only fasting. And I could definitely say that I'm really proud of her for pushing through and continuing through this process. Today when she got up, she was a little low energy, got herself moving, went outside, we got some sun, built her energy back up, and she was kind of cruising through the day. We did some educational stuff. She watched some documentaries, furthered her knowledge about nutrition, along with furthering her information, her knowledge about fasting and things like that. So she kind of stayed in pace of just resting and just digesting the things that she needs to understand when it comes down to maintaining her results and furthering her health once she comes out of her fast. So I didn't do any measurements for her. Oh, I did. I took her weight today. She was actually down 11 or 12 pounds. No, I'm sorry. She was down 13 pounds from 13 pounds in 7 days. So that's from the fasting that she's been doing, 13 pounds for 7 days. There's no timetable of how long I'm going to allow her to fast. It's mainly going to be based off of her body, how her body responds to just her being in fasting mode. One of the best things about what she's going through now is that she's not experiencing any heavy detox symptoms. So that's a sign that she was actually doing some things right before her fast. She's not experiencing any excess mucus, any headaches, any muscle aches and spasms and things like that. She's kind of just going through the flow. So that's definitely a good sign, but she's going to push through it. The next big update that we're going to do is probably going to be on day 10 and day 14. Do another live video, get on the scale, take a pressure again. I think she got a urine analysis coming up and some other things that's tied in between, and just keep monitoring everything. But she's actually doing pretty well for those of us that's invested in just understanding more and more about her journey. So now we want to get into the topic of the day, which is going to be this 7-day fruit and salad challenge. And I want us to understand what this fruit and salad challenge is all about. It's not just about eating fruits and salads. That's just the name of it. It's a lot bigger when it comes down to it. The main thing about this challenge is eating the whole foods that are going to provide your body with the nutrients and the minerals that it needs to help you get better control of your blood pressure. When it comes down to blood pressure is largely regulated by, I want to say, about 5 specific minerals and a few other vitamins in between. But it's particularly 5 major minerals that control your blood pressure. It's going to be potassium, sodium, magnesium, calcium, and zinc. Those are the 5 big guys that are in the mix of everything else. Now, of course, vitamin D and all these other things play a role in there, but those 5 big boys are there, and they are the stronghold when it comes down to managing your blood pressure and making sure things stay regulated. So the purpose of the 7-day fruit and salad challenge is to help you get these vitamins and minerals in your system, because the majority of people that are dealing with blood pressure issues, the majority of people that are dealing with essential blood pressure issues, this is largely due to a mineral deficiency that's going on. This mineral deficiency can be one or a number of things, multiple things put together. So it's very important that you go straight down the line to make sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, making sure that you're getting the nutrients that you need to make sure that this is not just a simple deficiency that's triggering your blood pressure. For most people, they're typically low in potassium and they have elevated sodium levels. That's one thing that's just a lot of people are dealing with. As soon as you increase your potassium levels and drop your sodium levels, your blood pressure goes back to regular. There's no need for a simple diuretic that most people are taking, and that just solves the problem. So understanding a lot of these little things like this will help you get on the right path to better understanding how to manage your blood pressure. Now, leading off, I want to make sure I say this, is that we're talking about essential blood pressure here. We're not talking about, the issues like the secondary blood pressure issues that are related to kidney disease or thyroid issues and things like that. We're more so talking about the essential problem, because when you're dealing with these other issues, it becomes a little bit more technical to actually handle based off of the level, the stage your body's at, what you can handle, what you can't handle. The strategy changes a little bit, but essentially when it comes back to everything as a whole, you have to start including more whole foods to your diet. But the majority of people, I want to say about 95% of people, it's all essential issues that they're dealing with. And if you're not having any severe kidney issues or things like that going on, you're still right in the line to be able to partake in these type of issues here. When I mention kidney issues, this is usually related to the people that have issues with their potassium, where their body's not filtering out the potassium properly and things like that. That's usually the number one flag that people have with these type of strategies. So if you're not dealing with that type of issue, feel free to continue to partake in this type of challenge, and you won't have to worry about these type of any type of complications coming from it. So here I have the ebook here. It's I don't know if I'm too close, if you guys can see it. Let me back this light up a little bit. Boom. But on my tablet, I got the ebook here, the 7-day fruit and salad challenge. For those of you that signed up for the challenge, it was $10. You signed up, you got the ebook here, along with the 8 steps to a complete health turnaround course and the worksheet there. Both of those are going to be tools that can help you better understand how to make these changes. The fruit and salad challenge is going to help you get a better understanding of these nutrients that are needed to help you regulate your blood pressure. And the 8 steps to a complete health turnaround, it's more like a personal strategy session to help you order your steps to start making implementing these type of changes in your lifestyle. So the 7-day fruit and salad challenge, I put it in what's called the flipping book, meaning that it's not just a PDF format that you got to just scroll and look and look. I'm trying to get a little closer. It's a flipping book. Basically, you just hit the button right here and the page is turned. Just like that. See how cool it is? Just read a page and it's just like reading a book. It just turns just like this for you guys. So as you're reading through your device, your phone, your tablet, your computer, whatever you're on, you can just turn the pages just like this, and it gives you all the information that you need. One of the most beautiful things about the flipping book as well is that it'll read it to you if you want. So you could kind of like just turn it into an audio book, put your headset in or let your device play. It'll read it right to you. That way you don't have to just, be stuck glued reading, because I believe this is like 30 or 40 pages or so, but it's all information that we're going to take this week to just absorb and digest. That way we can understand these things and get some clarity from it, because it's very, very important to actually know what's going on, because we all have these issues. We all have the goal. We want to get off the pharmaceutical medications and regain control of our blood pressure. This requires us to gain more knowledge about the problems that we're dealing with. So when you expand your knowledge about the situation at hand, now you're better equipped with the tools to actually battle the problem and overcome the issue. So this is what this 7-day the 7-day fruit and salad challenge is all about. We're going to start incorporating more whole foods into our diet moving forward. And it's a 7-day challenge, because for the next 7 days, this is going to be our primary focus. Now, does this mean after 7 days we stop? No, not at all. It doesn't mean that you stop. You keep going. Make it a part of your lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with continuing in this manner. But right now, we're going to set the intention in our journeys to actually start doing things a certain way, because we need to figure out what's at the root of this problem. So we're going to start tackling these minerals, understanding the foods that we can find them in, but most importantly, just building on our diet to continue to get better. One of the first thing a lot of, matter of fact, we ain't going to talk about everybody. We're going to talk about what we're doing. So I like to take an approach of making sure that before we start pulling the things out of our diet that we shouldn't have, I like to start with understanding our foundations and where we're going to build from. Because, a lot of people have these habits of eating things that they shouldn't have. We're not going to address those just as yet. We're going to start incorporating and building some foundation and some structure first, and then we're going to start pulling things out, because the last thing you want to do is pull things out and take things out of your diet and you don't have anything to replace it with, because it leaves you with a gap. And when you have a gap, your structure is just not there. And before you know it, you end up breaking and collapsing because you didn't have any options. So we're starting off with putting things in place and building some structure. That way we can know what we need to do to set our base when it comes down to controlling our blood pressure issue. So as we get into the 7-day fruit and salad challenge, I'm not going to go through all the introduction and stuff like that. That's for you guys to actually take the time out and do. It's just more so of a greeting of like what this is all about. But what I am going to start with is going to be the actual rules of the challenge. I don't actually need to read this right now, but I'm going to go through the actual rules of the challenge, because the better you understand the rules, the better you can understand like why I structured it this way. So rule number 1, it's not about taking anything away. You don't have to stop eating anything. You don't have to stop eating anything or stop doing that. This is not where you just have to eat fruit and salad all day. It's not that. Continue with your diet as you were. Don't change anything else, but add fruit and salad to your diet however you can. The goal for this strategy is to add 3 servings of fruit per day and at least 1 large salad per day. It's as simple as that. Nothing more, nothing less. Every day you need to have 3 servings of fruit. Every day you need to have 1 large salad. Doesn't matter if you had it in the morning. Don't matter if you had it at nighttime. Doesn't matter if you had it in the middle of the day. Don't matter if you stretched it all out. Long as you get those things inside of your system each and every day, you have moved forward throughout this challenge. And the ideal goal is to make sure that you're having at least 3 servings of fruit, and make sure you're having a variety of it, preferred. Let's say if you decide that, okay, I got a mango, I have an apple, I have some grapes, and I have some pineapple, or whatever it is that you decide to have a variety of it, because when you include a variety of fruits into your diet, you're going to get a variety of vitamins and minerals. It's going to give you all sorts of it, because think of it like eating a rainbow. You eat a rainbow, you got a red mango, an orange, a golden pineapple, a red apple. You got all these different colors and things inside of there. And what happens is all these different colorful fruits have different vitamins and minerals and enzymes and antioxidants inside of them. All of them play a direct role when it comes down to regulating your blood pressure and your overall health. Not to mention the fiber, the water, and everything else that's beneficial for your body. So whenever you're doing this, make sure you have a variety. So whenever you decide to go to the grocery store to prepare for the challenge, which begins on next Monday, whenever you go, make sure you're getting a variety of fruits to help you get through this process. Don't just binge on one type of fruit. Let's say, well, I'm just eat a bag of grapes and call it a day. No, mix it up, man. Get some variety in your system. Get some red grapes, get some green grapes, get a banana, get an apple. Just mix it up with whatever you feel comfortable with. And the best way to choose which foods that you want is listed inside of the ebook in different sections. I've broken down each mineral. I've broken down each mineral into a section, and it has basically which food items are high in these minerals. So, for instance, if you go into the potassium section, you're going to see the fruits that are high in potassium. You're going to see the vegetables that are high in potassium, and you're going to also see the nuts and seeds that are high in potassium. And the reason I chose all fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds, because they're all raw. And when I say that they're all raw, the reason that I chose the raw version is because these are going to give you the highest amounts of vitamins and minerals and enzymes without, any additives or any other issues. They're raw, they're natural, they haven't been heated, and the structure of the different molecules haven't been damaged in any type of way. For those of you that are not understanding what I'm saying, when you take any type of food, whether it's a nut, anything, whatever you take, once you put heat to it, you start to damage it and break it down, and now all the different nutrients become less valuable, basically what I'm saying. And you don't want that to happen. You want to get the highest version of them. So I've listed the highest quality options, which are going to be raw foods. And in each mineral category, you're going to see a list of foods that are high in these items. Now, one thing that you will see as well is that you're going to start to see certain foods that are consistent across all these different minerals. And what does that mean? You should probably start eating more of these items to help you move forward on your journey. As more as you continue to incorporate these different items into your diet, you're going to start seeing the difference, because let's say you take an item like Swiss chard. A lot of people are not too familiar with Swiss chard. We've probably seen it, but we don't really know what to do with it, and we just bypass it a lot of times. But Swiss chard is one of these items that's very, very high in potassium, high in magnesium, and it's going to provide your body with a lot of fiber, water, and enzymes and antioxidants and a lot of other things that it needs. So when you see an item like Swiss chard that's on the list consistently across the board, you should start adding more of that to your diet, because it's going to provide you with a lot more of the nutrients that you need. Let's say you get a simple cup of Swiss chard. You get a measuring cup and you pack it with some cut Swiss chard in there. That's going to give, you get 2 of those and put it inside a salad. That's going to give you 1,000 milligrams of potassium, and that's going to help elevate your potassium levels to help you continue to move forward. And one thing about when you're eating whole foods to get your nutrients, you can't overdo it. Your body's not going to allow you to overdose on potassium in the form of whole foods. Whereas if you're trying to take a potassium supplement, you damn near kill yourself if you do it, if you take too much, because taking a potassium supplement causes a lot of complications. Because a potassium supplement, it doesn't necessarily have the fiber, the water, the other vitamins and minerals to help it assimilate properly inside the body. And now the body's stuck holding on to it till it's able to eliminate it. And if you're dealing with digestive issues and elimination issues, you're probably just sitting on it. And then when it builds up into the bloodstream, it causes other complications. And that's what you don't want to do when it comes down to supplements. But eating whole foods, they come packaged up exactly how your body needs it. The fiber, the water, the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, everything is there. Your body takes it, it digests it, absorbs it, utilizes it, and assimilate it to everywhere it needs to go, and then it eliminates it naturally through this process without you having to worry about overdoing it. So allow your body to do what it needs to do properly with the things that it's designed to do it with. That's going to save you a lot of trouble. And that's one of the main reasons why I say, we have to be mindful about taking supplements, because taking supplements, it's not the same thing as eating whole foods. Just taking a potassium supplement or taking a magnesium supplement, it's not going to get you everything for your body as a whole. You don't want to focus on the individual mineral. You want to focus on the whole foods to get all the different vitamins and minerals and enzymes that your body needs. That way you're nourishing your body as a whole, you're taking care of it as a whole, and you're focusing on your whole individual self. So it's very, very important to understand whole foods are going to be the way. So you're going to see these different things on there. That way you can know what foods that you want to buy and incorporate into your strategy for the week. And the main thing is mix it up and go. Now, when it comes down to fruits, have it how you want to have it. The only objection that I have to this is that I don't want anyone to make smoothies. Reason being, smoothies are cheating. You don't want to cheat yourself. You want to make sure you're treating yourself. The reason I say smoothies are cheating is because you're taking 4 or 5 servings of fruits, you're putting it inside of the blender, you're blending it all up, and you're drinking it down, and then boom, you got it in there in your system. Now what happens is, I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but you want to get in the habit of doing things a more natural way. And not saying that smoothies aren't natural. They're just not, it's not ideal. You know what I'm saying? I'm just simple as that. Eating a fresh apple is going to be a lot better for you than actually drinking a smoothie, because you got to eat it, you got to chew it, you got to break it down and get it. Whereas let's say you get a smoothie, you're putting all these different fruits in there and you're just drinking and chugging it down. Now think of it this way. I got 7 apples. I take them inside and put them in the blender, and I blend them all up and I drink it, and I make an apple smoothie or whatever have you. And then if I try to eat 7 apples, it's going to be totally different. I'm not going to get all those 7 apples down. I'm not going to eat them that way. So understanding that your body responds differently when you have 5 or 6 servings of fruit just inside of a blender, whereas you're eating it throughout the course of a day, your body's going to respond differently to that process. And the more natural way of doing things is just going to be eating the whole foods itself without processing it and blending it up and trying to drink it down. Because what's going to ultimately happen is you're going to blend them up, drink them down. You're going to have some good vitamins and minerals in your system, but your body doesn't have to go through the digestive process. It's going to rapidly eliminate those out of the system because the fiber and everything has already been broken down. And basically, you're going to see yourself pretty much hungry again sooner or later. And it doesn't do anything for the actual habit of eating more whole foods. So incorporating more whole foods to the diet and eating them in their natural form is going to be the best choice. So I don't want to see smoothies throughout this process. If you decide to still have a smoothie, like if it's something that you do every day, that's fine. But make sure that you're having your 3 to 5 servings of fruits each and every day in the whole form. So if you want to eat your grapes and your whatever as they are, that's going to be best. So, that's going to be best. 3 to 5 servings of fruits. Now, the next thing is going to be about the salads. This is the direction I want everyone to go with their salads. Rule number 1 when it comes to salads: no animal proteins on your salads. No store-bought salad dressings. Those are the first 2 rules. No animal proteins. No store-bought dressing. No shrimp, no chicken, no salmon, no fish, no beef, nothing on top of your salad. No type of animal proteins on top of your salad. That's one of the biggest rules. Not because I'm against animal proteins. I want you to eat the salad as it is, because once you start putting everything on top of the salad, you're going for the animal protein that's on there. You're not necessarily even focusing on the greens. If you have like a salmon Caesar salad, you're digging into that salmon. Forget the salad. Like, you don't even care too much about it. You're enjoying the salmon. We don't want to touch any animal proteins throughout this course of this week when it comes to our salad. Move away from them completely. No animal proteins on your salad, and no store-bought salad dressings. Now, when I say store-bought salad dressings, the reason I'm singling these out is because 99.9% of store-bought salad dressings contain the 3 things that are most damaging to your overall health, directly relating to your blood pressure. That's going to be salt, oils, and sugars. Every salad dressing in the store pretty much has salt, oils, and sugars, and those are all damaging to your endothelial cells, and we're going to talk about that at a later time. But right now, no store-bought salad dressings. Inside of the ebook, I've listed 3 salad dressings there. That's going to be very easy to make in the comfort of your own home. You don't necessarily need a blender. You can whisk it up in a bowl by yourself. It has a few ingredients there. And then I'm also going to do a cooking demo to help you guys understand how to make some other additional salad dressings later on this week. That way, when Monday does come, we have a good idea of how to understand, like, how we're going to get through this process. Because it's like, man, this guy's talking about no salad dressing. Oh, man, I thought I would just drown it in some ranch and, just enjoy it. Nah, it's going to be a little bit more strategic than that, because we want to get away from that salt, that oil, and that sugar, and we want to have a strategy of how to do so, because salt, oils, and sugar are the 3 most dangerous things that are incorporated in a lot of different foods, and they affect the blood pressure in many, many different ways. We know about the salt when it comes down to causing water retention in the body and causing the heart to pump harder, raising the blood pressure. When it comes down to sugar, sugar produces a lot of free radicals. Free radicals destroy the endothelial cells, causing a lot. Free radicals cause oxidative stress, which end up destroying the endothelial cells, causing the blood vessels to constrict and becomes hard and stiffened. So you want to understand, we don't want that to happen. When it comes down to the oils do the same thing. The postprandial effects of oils, meaning basically as soon as you consume something with oils, the blood vessels start to constrict. Those cells that's supposed to be perfect, aligned, and in the blood vessels, they start moving around, and this causes a lot of issues when it comes down to cholesterol, plaque buildup, and things like that. So understanding salt, oils, and sugars, when it comes down to our salads right now, no salt, no oils, no sugars, and we'll go through the process of properly making some nice salads that are going to be flavorful. They're going to have a nice dressing that's filled with the spices and the other things that we love, and we're going to make sure that we know how to customize them so that we're not forcing ourselves to chew down some salad that we don't enjoy. We're going to make sure we find the flavors that we love and incorporate it, because one thing that I'm a firm believer in, if you don't like it and you got to force yourself to eat it and consume it,
it ain't nowhere in the world you're going to stick with it. It's as simple as that. You got to make sure that if you're making some type of change, you have to enjoy this change. This change has to actually be comfortable for you to do and be consistent with. But if you don't like it, it ain't no way you're going to stick with it. And our main goal is to make sure that we come away with a strategy through this week that we can understand how we can start consuming more healthy foods and actually enjoy this process. So we'll definitely have a small cooking demo where we're making some salad dressings, understanding that, okay, I could just take this avocado, or I could take this raspberry, or I could take this mango, or I could take this other item and simply make a salad dressing, and boom, I got me a raspberry vinaigrette, or boom, I got this, whatever. Like, it's a lot of different things that you can do by simply using some whole foods, and I'm going to help you guys understand that thing. So there's only 3 recipes inside of the book. The other recipes that we're going to do them live. That way we could all actually kind of like see what's happening instead of just looking at a piece of paper, because one thing, I'm a visual learner. I don't like reading recipes and trying to figure it out. I want to see what it's supposed to look like in real time. That way I could be like, okay, boom, it looks like this and it's supposed to look like this. And then now you can just kind of go through the process. So that's one of the main things. No store-bought salad dressings, no animal proteins on your salad. We're going to get to love our greens. We're going to get to love making fresh salad dressings. Now, when it comes down to our greens as a whole, I want us to move away from regular greens such as the romaine lettuce and the spring mix and things like that. Those are okay. I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you can't eat them because of blah, blah. They're okay, but they're not doing anything for you. They're going to take the romaine lettuce. It's full of water. It's going to give you a nice crunch, and it's something that you're probably used to consuming. It's easy to digest because it's pretty much full of nothing. It's mostly water, so it's easy to go down. But what I want you to start incorporating is more powerful greens to your blend. This is where the Swiss chard comes in. This is where the arugula comes in. This is where the kale comes in. This is where the spinach comes in. These are all power greens that are filled with everything else that's across the board. Now, the main thing to understand is that we got to know how to work with them. Mainly because sometimes you can get some kale and it's just as tough as chewing on some shoestrings or something like that. And it could be a nightmare. So understanding that there's different versions, there's different varieties, and how you handle them is going to be everything. Because me personally, I love kale straight off the stem. I could just take it and pluck it and enjoy it just like that because of how long I've been dealing with it. I've been a chef for 12 plus years. I grew up using it like it was just part of my nature. But to the average individual, you get some kale and it's just tough. It just deters you completely away. You don't want nothing to do with it. But understanding how to handle the greens is going to be a big part of it. And this is the reason why a lot of people avoid it, because they get digestive issues, they get heartburn from it, they get other type of it gets stuck in their teeth. They just don't want to deal with it. But understanding how to incorporate it into your diet, how to handle it, is going to be a big part of it. Let's say the kale. When it comes down to kale, you got 2 options. You can get the baby kale, which is a lot more smaller, a lot more tender, and a lot easier to handle. Baby kale is going to be just as good as the big kale. You can get those too. One thing that you want to avoid, you don't want to buy the kale inside of the bags that's already chopped up. Reason being, they send it through a machine. They put it through the machine just then you get all these big old stems inside of it. You're like, what the heck is this? Like, I don't want to chew on those stems. I just want the greens. And a lot of people just avoid it because of that. You want to buy the kale from the store that's already on this actual stem, just wrapped up in the produce section. You buy that. What happens is you get home, you just rip it off the stem, and you can break it down into the small, manageable sizes that you want, and it's easier to maintain. And all it needs is a gentle massage to help loosen it up, soften it, release the oils, and make it easier to digest, where it's not getting stuck in your teeth. It's not, just hard to handle. And this is going to be part of the process that helps you better manage it. And when also, it's not like you're just eating a big bowl of kale, because this is where incorporating the other power greens into the mix this is where it all comes into the mix. For instance, every time I make a salad at home, I use the Swiss chard, I use the arugula, I use the kale, and I use the spinach. It's usually a mixture of all those if I have it, or if not, it's a mixture of whatever I do have. And what happens, I put them all in a bowl, I gently massage them, I add whatever, let's say for instance today, I put an avocado on top, I grab some spices out of the cabinet, I season it up, I grab some balsamic vinegar, dropped it on top, I massaged it up real good, make sure that it was nice and tender all across, And then I put all my vegetables and everything right on top of it. And then boom, I had a nice big salad. I put some sprouts on it and put some hemp seeds on it. I was ready to go. So understanding that when you approach your salad, just having a bit of a strategy to make it taste good and make it more digestible is going to be a big part of it, especially when you're not used to consuming or eating things like this. You know, you want to make sure that you're on the right path, because if you just try to just go and grab some kale and just throw it in the bowl and put something on top of it, you're going to have a tough time. So understanding that you just want to make sure you're following the steps. And inside of the ebook, I went over these things quite a bit. So whenever you do find time, you'll go over it. But we're also going to do it visually this week. That way, when we get into the following week where the challenge does start, we have an idea of like, okay, cool, I could do this. It takes about 3 or 4 minutes. But, you know, boom, 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 I can make it happen. I don't like garlic powder, but I can do a little bit of onion powder. I'm not a balsamic vinaigrette person, but I do like some white wine vinegar. Boom, I could mix it up just like that. You can figure out your soft spots and enjoy it however you want. But the main thing is you want to make sure that you're eliminating the things that are going to drown out your salad and take away the experience, and start incorporating more of the things that are going to be more health promoting. And when it comes down to the things that you can put on top of your salad, this is where all those other fresh items are going to come in at. You're going to see the bell peppers, the cucumbers, some tomatoes, some onions. You're going to see whatever you like. You're going to definitely see the list of things that are going to be there. Me personally, I like to add more sprouts and seeds and things to my salad as well. But you're going to see the list of different things. And this is how you're going to structure your salad based off of what you like to consume. So if you're a person that only likes bell peppers and cucumbers, just put bell peppers and cucumbers on your salad. If you're a person that likes olives and everything else, banana peppers and all these things, put them on your salad. Enjoy them. There's no other rules to this outside of the salt, oils, and sugars in the salad dressing and the animal-based proteins. Make your salad how you want to make it. Now, I did have a question from, I believe Miss Marianne asked me earlier about maybe adding quinoa and beans and things to the salad. I was actually opposed to it at first, but I think that will be fine as well if you add like, any of those things to the salad. I don't think it'll take away too much to it, but I think ideally you want to make sure that the salads are the primary focus, because one thing I know what I used to do for my son was that he wasn't too happy about eating kale all the time. But when I did put quinoa and beans on top of it, it didn't even matter anymore because it all just went down the same and he just enjoyed it. So it may make it a little bit easier for you, but make sure that your salad is definitely the main focus of it, because you don't want to get in a cycle of masking the salad and forcing it down with all these other things on top of it. So there's no actual salad recipes. The recipe for the salad is basically a vegetable salad. And you want to add the vegetables and things that you like the most on it, and understand your flavor profile for the type of dressings that you want. If you like a vinaigrette type of dressing, we'll have one of those available. If you like more earthy type dressing, we'll have those. If you like something more sweet and savory, you have all those different options. That way you're not just stuck like looking at a salad and be like, dang, I don't want to eat this because it ain't what I want. We're going to find our pathway. This is what this week is all about. This is our prep week of understanding these things. That way when we get to Monday and our week starts, we hit the ground running 7 days straight. Fruits and salads, 3 to 5 servings of fruits, and at least one large salad each and every day. And one of the other rules for this challenge is I want everybody that's participating, take a quick picture of your salad and post it inside of the group. That's it. Take a quick picture of some fruits that you have and post it inside of the group. Doesn't have to be this incredible aesthetic picture. Just, you could be holding it in your hand. Yeah, I'm having an apple. Boom, took a picture of it, posted in the group. What happens is it builds some accountability. So that's part of the process. Make sure you post your pictures. And I'm not going to be the picture police. I ain't going to be like, hey, y'all post your picture. I'm not going to be the picture police. It's up to you. If you want to be active and involved in your own healing process, you'll follow the rules and get a part of the journey, because this is not just me making up a rule for you guys to do. This allows for you to be accountable for your actions and play the role and be a part of your own healing journey. And understand that as a health coach and a hypertension strategist,
I can only take you so far. You got to want to play the game. And, you know, I can sit here and say this and say that, but if you want to play the game and you want to get to the end goal, you got to go through the process and play the game and get involved. So if the game says you take a picture once a day of your fruit and your salad, how hard is it to take out your picture, take it and put it? And now, albeit we might forget here and there, but try to be as accountable for it as you can. Simply take a picture, post it in the group. Hey, I had this salad and it actually wasn't half bad. You know, I had half of it for lunch and then I had the other half before I went home. Whatever it is that you want to say, just be a part of it, because not only is it going to help you get better, it's going to help motivate somebody else, because they're going to see, oh man, they put XYZ on their salad. I might do that next time. That looks good. And this is where the community effort comes together, because we're all here dealing with the same problems, me included. My blood pressure I was dealing with the same blood pressure issues as well. So understanding that we're here together as a unit and we're working to get better. That's why we're in the group setting. This is why you signed up for the challenge. Challenge yourself to do the things that are needed to get over the hump. It's 7 days. 7 days, I don't know how many hours that is, but it's 7 days of just being consistent in one area. And one thing about it is, as you do this, you're going to start seeing some changes start to happen in your body. You may see some changes in your digestion. You may see some changes in your blood pressure reading. You may see some changes in you might see some small microscopic changes. You're definitely going to see some changes in your bowel movements, but you're going to start seeing things. But one thing about it is, when it comes down to getting control of blood pressure issues and making lifestyle changes, it's those small tweaks to the dial, to the body that you're doing, that's going to ultimately turn things around. So sitting there and eating the more greens and more fruits, you're turning the knob in the right direction. And then when you start being more consistent with it and making bigger changes, now your whole body changes. Your whole health starts to turn around. Everything starts to shift because you're in better alignment. But you have to start somewhere. And challenges like this is going to help get you over the edge when it comes down to getting control and making those changes. Because again, a lot of us been doing and living a certain way for 30, 40, 50 plus years. And we might think that it's hard for us to make a change. But we have to understand that these lifestyle changes are behavioral changes. And they can be hard. But when you have a tactic and you have some strategies, all you really have to do is show up for yourself and allow for your body to do the things that it wants to do naturally. Your body naturally wants to thrive and to live, but you have to get out of your own way and allow for this to happen. So right now, this is the first step to priming our body up and just giving our cells what they need so they can start moving in a more health promoting direction. And as we continue with this cycle, we're going to start seeing things to get better. And that's ultimately what's going to happen as we continue through this group, learning about these lifestyle changes, partaking in these different type of challenges that we're having, because this is just one of the many challenges that we're going to do. Because again, we want to get off the blood pressure medication, right? I'm breaking it all down into digestible pieces for you. 7 days here, 7 days there. If you can do it for 7 days and you find ease throughout this process, continue to add these different strategies to it and watch how your body thanks you. I'm not going to thank you. Your body's going to thank you for doing these things and getting over the hump and allowing for it to move in a health promoting direction. So the 7-day fruit and salad challenge, that's what really outlines it. It's all about just making sure that we're giving our body the foods that it needs in order to get those nutrients and everything else that it needs to function at a proper level. Now, when you also go deeper into the 7-day challenge, what you will also see is the breakdown of each and every mineral. And that's going to be what you do pretty much on your time throughout the week. I am going to do it throughout this week as well. But if you have the book, go through those different things. Let's say if you got your blood work recently done and you see that you was low in magnesium. Go to the magnesium column and look at what I outlined and put in there for you guys to understand. You can understand how magnesium works in the body. You can understand what it does or what it works with. The side effects if you're low on magnesium. You can kind of see how things work and be able to connect the dots through certain things. And that's with each and every mineral that's involved in blood pressure. You will see its relationship in the body, what its primary job is, how it connects to your blood pressure as a whole.
And you might even see some of the things that you're experiencing as well dealing with this type of issue. So understanding that, eating whole foods is going to allow you to rebuild the body by giving it the nutrients that it needs. And now as your body starts to rebuild and get stronger, it's going to be better able to manage the blood pressure on its own. And now this is how you start to get weaned off of the medication, because you're rebuilding your body, you're strengthening your cells, you're removing the things that are damaging to the blood vessels, and you're allowing the heart and the blood to flow properly. And now this creates the environment where, your body can express itself in its natural ways without the need for pharmaceutical medications. But the main thing about it, it takes effort. You have to want to do it. This doesn't just happen by sitting back and taking a pill. This doesn't happen because somebody gave you a book and say this is what it is. No, you have to step up and say, yeah, I could do this for 7 days. Oh, this 7 day was cool. Let me keep on doing it and see how long I can keep going with it. Oh, I see I lost 3 or 4 pounds. Oh, my blood pressure did go down a little bit. Keep up the good work, because it's all about what you can do when it comes to lifestyle changes. It's not about what you can take. You gotta be willing to do these things, and that's how you get off of the medication, by doing these things. Because one thing about it, change happens when you make a choice. You got to make the choice to say, yeah, I'm going to do this, and that's where change is going to come. Once you be like, yeah, I'm going to do it, and then I do it, you're the one that's going to be blessed with the changes in your lifestyle. It doesn't happen it doesn't happen by chance. Change just not going to knock on your door and be like, hey, I'm here. You want a new life? Change is not going to show up like that. You got to make a choice to say, yeah, I'm going to partake in this challenge. I'm going to get myself together, and I'm going to go ahead and give this a try and see how it works out for me. And this is where you start understanding the journey. And this is where your journals also come into play as well. When you have your journal, you're able to document how you feel throughout this process. And that way, as you're going through these 7 days, just write down how you feel. You don't have to journal each and every day, but if you do, there's also nothing wrong with it. But when you do journal, just write down how you feel. Let's say first day before you even start, Sunday night, you get on the scale. You get on the scale, you take your blood pressure, and you write it down inside of your book, and you're like, okay, cool, this is where I'm at. I'm going to start this challenge, and then in 7 days with doing this, I'm going to go ahead and see where I'm at the end of the 7 days. Then boom, this will give you some idea about it. Now, one thing I want to throw out there as well is that you don't want to say, okay, I'm doing this challenge and I'm just eating a smoothie, I'm just eating a salad and the fruits and going through the process, and you're still eating a whole bunch of other crappy food at the same time. Now, it ain't going to necessarily balance out for you. Now, even though this challenge isn't specifically about removing those bad things from our diet, we should understand that if we're doing health promoting things, you gotta kick the crap. It's as simple as that. You can't be sitting there trying to eat candy and drink sodas at the same time while you're trying to have a salad and eat fresh fruits. You're working backwards. Like you hustling backwards, boss. It ain't gonna work out for you. It's as simple as that. So understanding that, being in alignment with more health promoting practices throughout this process is going to accelerate your results. And that's what you want at the end of and that's what you want at the end of this type of challenge. You want to make sure that you're putting your best foot forward. That way, as you maneuver through this process, you're able to come away with the best results as needed. So I think I went through the challenge pretty clear. I'm going to go ahead and answer some questions that we all might have, specifically challenge-based questions about the challenge. That way, I can make sure that everybody have a good understanding of it. For those of us that are here that haven't signed up for the challenge, what you can do is simply just go into the group. You'll see the link that's there. Click on the link. The challenge is $10. You get the ebook for it, the 7-day fruit and salad ebook, along with the 8 steps to a complete health turnaround course. That way you can have the fundamental tools that you need for when the challenge starts on July 10th. Yes, July 10th. And when we kick it off, we're going to make sure that we grounded and pounded and make sure we're following the guidelines and the rules of the book, of the ebook. That way we can just make sure that we scoring on each play when it comes down to making sure that we get control of our blood pressure. Because one thing about it, when it comes down to blood pressure, again, this is just one step in the process. Not all blood pressure issues are directly related to nutrition. So understanding that we're going through the cycle of dotting our I's and crossing our T's to make sure that, nope, it ain't this. Nope, it ain't that. Nope, it ain't this. We're going through all of it. And that way, by the end of this journey, you can say, man, I went through everything here and I understand what it could have been, what it was. And if you got to the end goal of it, you're like, yeah, I did what I needed to do because I paid attention in each challenge. I showed up to all the different lives and I applied the different strategies that was there. We're turning over every stone, and you're going to have the opportunity to see if this is your trigger to your blood pressure problem, because that's one of the things that make controlling blood pressure so tricky, because everybody has different issues. It's no one blood pressure issue. It's not just because of your potassium, not just because of your sodium, it's not just because of your stress, it's not just because of your lack of exercise, it's not just because of your diabetes and things like that. It could be multiple issues, and an individual could be dealing with several different things. But the better you're able to understand each potential cause and get to the bottom of it to see if it's triggering you, the better you're going to come out on the other side with a win. And that's ultimately what these type of things are all about. So I'm going to go ahead and answer any questions. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop it inside of the chat, and we'll go from there. I guess I'm going to scroll back as far as I can. I think that's cool. I'm happy you clarified the fact of learning to gradually eliminate food items eventually. It's more about adding more fruits and vegetables daily. Great info. This is the rock bottom base of my journey. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. That's one of the main things. Like, you don't want to set yourself up for failure. Like, you don't want to just scratch everything that you've been doing. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people find some success with doing that, but you want to make sure that you have a strategy, because with these type of issues, these are issues that are like habits that are ingrained inside of us. You know what I'm saying? We've been eating like this for a long way. Our behavior has been this way for a while. So understanding that you want to slowly pull those things out, but also have some good behaviors or some good habits to just hold you together while you're there and continue to build your base and get stronger. With the ice dilute the vitamins in the fruits. I'm not sure what you mean about ice. You may be referring to smoothies, but not necessarily. I use frozen fruits whenever I did make smoothies and things like that. I also have diabetes. Could I still have my 3 servings of fruits daily? That's a great question. So good. That give me a good chance to elaborate on this. So one thing that I hear a lot is I'm diabetic. I can't have fruit. I shouldn't have fruits. It affects my blood sugar and X, Y, Z and things like that. One thing that you have to understand as a diabetic, everything that you eat is going to affect your blood sugar. It's as simple as that. But it's how it affects your blood sugar that's going to be very, very important. Understanding that fruit sugars and carbohydrates and refined carbohydrates and all these other sugars, they're not necessarily the same. And before I even get going forward with the fruit aspect, there's 2 fruits that I would suggest that you avoid if possible. Those would definitely be your watermelons and your pineapples and your other melons, because melons are high in water. They tend to be a lot higher in the sugar content, things like that, and they can cause a more explosive rise than, say, like your berries and your apples and your other fruits and things like that. So when it comes to melons and pineapples, avoid those. But when it comes down to those other fruits, understand this process. When you consume fruits, well, let me dial back. Let's say when you consume bread as a carbohydrate. When you consume bread doesn't necessarily, a lot of bread doesn't contain any fiber, any water, different vitamins and minerals and enzymes. It doesn't have all those things in a complete package because it's not a whole food. So when it goes into your body and your body starts to break it down and digest it, there's no fiber there to slow down that rise in blood sugar that ultimately affects the body in a negative way. It spikes the insulin, cause a whole domino effect of things to occur. There's no fiber there to slow that process down. So when you eat bread and pizza and drink sodas or refined carbohydrates, there's no fiber in the water, no vitamins, no minerals, and none of those things there to slow down the digestive process and allow your body to properly assimilate everything. There's nothing there. But when you consume fruits, berries, mangoes, apples, all these things contain the water, they contain the fiber, they contain the vitamins, the minerals, the enzyme for proper assimilation. So when you do consume them, they are going to cause your blood sugar to rise. That's a fact. That's going to happen. But what's going to happen is, instead of rising like the soda and the carbs and the refined sugars and all those things, it's going to give you a gradual rise. And throughout the day, your blood sugar is going to gradually continue to rise. but your body's going to be able to properly rise and handle it and keep it from just picking you up and raising you sky high. Because one thing about the refined carbs and things like that, and the bread and the pizza and the pasta and all those things, they jack you up and raise the blood sugar levels, then they just drop you. And then boom, you come crashing down, you're hungry all over again, the insulin levels all out of whack, all type of crazy stuff start happening inside of the body. So we understand that the fiber, the water, the vitamins, the minerals, and the enzymes and everything else inside of the fruits, they give you a gradual rise. And as your body gradually rise, as the blood sugar levels gradually rise, your body can properly maintain its level and properly utilize the sugars and the nutrients and the enzymes and everything else that's there. And what's going to happen is those other vitamins, minerals, and enzymes are all going to be able to go to the cells and nourish the cells and activate them and get them going to where they're able to better process any other sugars that are coming into the body. Because one thing that's been shown is that when a person dealing with diabetes consume fruits and natural fruit sugars, their cells respond better to any other food items that they consume later on, specifically any carbs, because the cells are primed with all the nutrients and everything that it needs to function at a higher level. Whereas if you're eating refined carbs and things without the vitamins and minerals and enzymes, you're not getting those nutrients. So understanding that fruits and the fruit sugars in their natural form, I'm not saying have a smoothie or, have it in any other way, have it in its natural form, those are going to be some of the best things to do. And if you're still someone that's still on the edge, like, I don't know about that, I'm not sure, the best options that you can have are always going to be your berries, your blueberries, your strawberries, your blackberries and raspberries. Those are all very, very low in your carbs and things like that. And you can gradually have those, still get the vitamins, the minerals, the enzymes, the antioxidants, and all those other things without having that higher rise in, say, if you ate like a banana or any other fruit that may be a little bit higher on that scale. So understand, when it comes down to diabetes, fruits are not your enemy. They're not going to be something that's caused you to have an issue. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're trying to eat fruits and then you're drinking a soda and you're having bread and you're having carbs and you're still having other crap that can cause friction inside of you, of course you're still going to have some problem. But if you're making the right changes, you're eliminating the processed and refined foods from your diet, and you're eating more whole foods, you're going to start to see your body respond in a better way when it comes down to just managing your blood sugars in a certain pathway. And I actually have a great tool for you. That's a great question. Miss Claudine, stay right there. Let me give me just 1 second. I'm looking for this book. I got 1,000 books on. I think it's on the other side. Here it is. Nope, back here. All right, here we go. Boom. This is all right. Sorry about that. I ran off. I got a habit of like always going to get books when I'm talking about specific topics that I think people should dive in a little bit further on. So I have a book here by Dr. Neal Barnard. He's a plant-based doctor, and the book is called The Program for Reversing Diabetes. I have probably about 3 or 4 different of his books. This is probably one of the best ones when it comes down to reversing type 2 diabetes. And the main thing that I take and understand from this book is the approach of, let me slow down a little bit. The main thing that I understand from this item is that when you look at different doctors, different strategies, and different approaches, they all conflict with each other in many different ways. And that's one of the worst things that can happen to a person that's dealing with a chronic issue, because they're left confused with understanding what's right and what's wrong. So you have to really understand through practice and trial of how your body feels through this process. So for you, Miss Claudine, what I would definitely suggest, and for anyone that's dealing with type 2 diabetes, this book here, Reversing Diabetes by Dr. Neal Barnard, this is a very good book to help you understand
you know, how this condition manifests within your body. Because a lot of times we just think about, oh, it's sugar, 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 sugar. Diabetes is not a sugar, it's not necessarily a sugar problem. You know, even though sugar is directly related to the issue that's going on, but we have to understand that, you know, this is not just a carb thing and a sugar thing. It goes a lot deeper than that. Your lifestyle plays a big role in it. And I'm not going to get into the whole diabetes conversation because that's a whole thing that'll take a whole another hour. But this is a great tool to pick up. You can go and get it off of Amazon. I think this is probably like 10 or 15 bucks. Put it on your shelf and start breaking it down. It's going to help get you some answers and also give you a strategy that you can use to start moving forward. Because the main thing is you can hear all this stuff coming from all these different places, but you have to be willing to act on what you feel is best for you. Take the information in and use it at some point and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to do a crash course. I'm going to try this for 45 days and see what happens. Let your body talk to you. If you feel like, you know, this is something that you want to do, your body going to tell you if it's a yeah or no. It's as simple as that. Allow your body to tell you what is what. Follow the guidelines and then make sure that you're in tune with the process. That way you can come away with the best results and the best understanding for yourself as you move forward. So, you know, those are some of the big parts of it. And as I keep moving through the questions, avoid SOS. Yep, salt, oils, and sugars. You want to avoid that throughout that week. And that's going to definitely help you there. And let's see, what other questions? You got any questions, feel free to drop them in. How do I purchase the ebook? Miss Stephanie, the ebook, the link is going to be inside of the group. You could just click, once you're in the group, you're going to see a post or several posts that are there. Just click on the link. It'll take you to my site. The challenge is $10. It gets you the ebook. It gets you everything else that you need. That way you can continue to educate yourself as you move forward. Yes, fruits don't really give you sugar spikes. They help with sugar cravings. I'm a diabetic also. Boom, there you go. Let's see. I just had a salad with Swiss chard. It tastes like dirt to me. Yeah, definitely. If you don't clean it, it will taste like dirt. Swiss chard, the kales, all those in the regular stalks and the bundles, they typically don't get cleaned when they come out. So that's one thing you want to make sure that you're just washing your produce and things like that. And that's going to be very, very important. So I don't see any other questions there. Can I have 1 cup of coffee with non-dairy creamer and raw sugars, or should I eliminate the coffee? Great question, Mr. Farrow. One thing about coffee is that coffee does not have your blood pressure in its best interest. Reason being, coffee is a stimulant. Coffee is what's called the vasoconstrictor. Now, coffee doesn't necessarily cause high blood pressure, but it does leave you with an elevated blood pressure throughout the day. Every time you consume coffee, it causes your blood pressure to rise, mainly because it constricts your blood vessels. When it starts constricting your blood vessels, the blood pressure ends up going up, and it can stay elevated as long as the caffeine is still in your system, because it's not necessarily the coffee, it's the caffeine in there that causes that problem. So by the coffee being a vasoconstrictor, this is counterintuitive to your goal of trying to get off of the blood pressure medication and bring your blood pressure down. Because anyone that drinks coffee consistently each and every day, let's say you have 1 cup or 3 cups, throughout the day, your blood pressure is elevated for a period of time. And once the coffee starts to wear off, then your blood pressure starts to drop. And ideally, I believe an 8-ounce cup of coffee can take anywhere, I might be wrong, but if anybody knows, could correct me, it can take anywhere between 6 and 8 hours to be completely out of your system. Now, if you're somebody that drinks a cup of coffee in the morning, a cup of coffee in the afternoon, and a cup of coffee somewhere in the middle of the day, you got 3 different levels of coffee in your system, and you're just chronically running with a higher blood pressure than normal. And eventually, it does wear off, but after a while, you start seeing it reflect in your sleeping habits and your blood pressure and things like that. So understanding, if you're trying to get away from, if you're trying to eliminate your blood pressure issue, you're really going to have to evaluate your relationship with coffee. Now, one thing is that when you look into the research about coffee, it's always going to go back and forth. Coffee's good, coffee's bad, blah, blah, blah. It always bumps heads. And you want to know the reason why? Money. As simple as that. Coffee is the number 2 traded commodity on the planet. oil is number one and coffee is number two. Ain't no way they're going to say coffee's bad for you because they're making billions and billions of dollars off of coffee. So they're not going to tell you the bad. They're going to tell you that, oh, it helps with this. It has these plant chemicals, these polyphenols that are great for heart health. It gives you energy and all these other false stimulations and things like that. But it's not going to tell you what's actually happening or what's going on. Yeah, coffee has many benefits to a person that's dealing with exhaustion and things like that. Yeah, it can give you energy, but that false stimulation is not the answer to your problem. Because if you got to get a cup of coffee every morning just to get out of the bed, you got a bigger problem. Like, coffee's not the fix, it's the Band-Aid. So understanding that, it goes a little bit deeper, but coffee is a commodity. When you want to understand why some people say something is good and some things is bad and it's just no definitive answer, it's usually a money thing somewhere behind it. So if you follow the money, you'll see what a cover-up is. But coffee is something that you really want to evaluate your relationship with and understand it. I'm never going to tell you to not do anything or not take anything, but I'm going to tell you that it's a vasoconstrictor. It has a direct impact on your blood pressure, and if you're working to get off the medication and control your blood pressure, take a look at that. Go 7 days without coffee. Go 7 days. See how your body feels. You're going to go through the withdrawal symptom. That shows you that coffee is a stimulant that causes other type of effects. You're going to go through that process, but you'll also see your blood pressure start to come down and you start to feel better and things start to change within your system. So, you want to evaluate that. But when it comes down to getting off of medication and dealing with blood pressure, you want to get rid of that coffee out of the diet. When you say 3 servings of fruit, is it 1 cup of each of a set of fruit? Servings vary depending on the fruit. Just like you said, you have 1 apple, a cup of blueberries, and a cup of pineapples. That works out. Because depending on the size of the fruits and the things like that, it can vary a little bit. But yeah, you could go off that guideline, like a cup of each at least. And then that'll put you in the right ballpark of being able to get the nutrients that you need. Can I use honey in my tea or coffee instead of sugar? I'm not going to get into that honey and the sweetener question because it goes into a whole different ballpark. I'm not a consumer of honey or tea or coffee, but understand that based off of the consistency of how you're using honey, that can have a negative impact on certain things. I'm not gonna say it's bad for you, but let's say if you're using honey each and every day, you're overdoing it. It's just the same way like if you're using honey instead of sugar to make cookies, it doesn't necessarily make it any better because you're still having that excessive amount of sugars. And even though it's less bad, doesn't necessarily make it any good, if that makes sense. How much water do I recommend per day? There's no recommendation on water. The main thing is just to stay hydrated. Everybody's activity levels are going to be different. Everybody's body is different. So there's no real guideline for hydration. You really have to listen to your body and let your body talk to you. Make sure that you're drinking enough water. And if you need more, consume some more. Fun fact, I haven't drank any water in about 9 days, mainly because I've been completely raw and I consume a lot of fruits throughout this process. And my diet is a little bit different from a lot of different things, but I haven't had any water. And even though I go running each and every morning and I'm in a position where my body responds differently and I haven't had a need for it, nor have I been thirsty. So, understanding that everybody's body is different based off your activity levels, your level of health, where you're working, if you're on your feet or you're sitting down, if you're a construction worker or, you go to the gym every day. So when it comes down to the water guideline, listen to your body. If you're eating 4 to 5 servings of fruit per day, based off of those fruits, you might not need as much water as a typical person that's not consuming fruit, that's eating more processed and junk food. So you'll see that your thirst levels change a little bit. So it's really important to understand that you listen to your body. If you need more water, stay hydrated. But if you don't necessarily see your body wanting more water, you might not necessarily need any. So, just understand it, listen to yourself. If you notice, I haven't had any water all day, it won't hurt you to have a cup or two, things like that. But, just listen to your body. What else? What type of fruit am I supposed to have for the challenge? That's inside of your book. Your book will tell you all those things. Can I drink cayenne pepper for my blood pressure? That's a great question. It's a stimulant. Same thing. Most things are either a stimulant or a depressant. One thing about it, it's a law, and basically this law of life basically says when you consume one thing and you take it into the body, basically, it's going to give you the opposite effect on the back end. Let's break it down. Cayenne pepper. When you consume cayenne pepper, it increases your heart rate. It gets your blood flowing. When most herbalists use cayenne pepper, they use it to help flush the system and get the blood flowing, to get the different type of herbs around the body to wherever they need to be, depending on what you're dealing with, in a faster rate. So when you consume cayenne pepper, the blood pressure rises. Not in a necessarily a negative way, but it increases because the body has to flush the cayenne out of the system. And understand cayenne pepper as a whole will give you a better understanding of how this actually works. If you take cayenne pepper and you put it in your nose, your body's going to go, puh, puh, like it's going to try to flush it out. That's a natural response of your body saying, oh, get this out of here. This ain't supposed to be inside of me at all. Not just your nose, but if you put it in your mouth, on your tongue, you're going to have it's not supposed to be in there. So understand that your body's going to give you an outward rejection of it. Now, what happens is, at some point in time, people started sprinkling just a little bit on our food and seasoning it up a little bit, and we developed a type of tolerance for a certain amount of it. But when you ingest it directly, your body says, hell no, I don't want that. Get it out of me. I'm going to do everything I need to do to get it out of me. Now, when you consume it to help with like blood pressure issues and other chronic issues that may be going on, your body elevates its elimination efforts. And when it elevates its elimination efforts, it's all trying to get this out of its system. So yes, your body's functioning at a higher level. The energy levels have increased to a degree to where everything's working properly at a higher level. So you're going to take your blood pressure and see that it's starting to regulate because your body's amped up its functions to eliminate this stuff out of its system. Now, what happens is, as soon as the cayenne pepper is out of the system, the body doesn't have to be so amped up anymore, and it calms back down, and then you see your blood pressure just start to rise back up to where it was. So the cayenne pepper is not going to necessarily fix your problem. It's going to stimulate you to increase the efforts of the body to eliminate it, and you're going to see in turn the blood pressure get better. But it's not necessarily fixing anything that's going on. And on the back end, it's going to cause your body to become a lot more sensitive in a way where it's not going to respond properly, or should I say your body's not going to respond the same way after all to the same type of stimulant. The body's going to be in worse shape than it was as you continue to consume it. So understanding that when you're playing with different type of herbs and stimulants and supplements like that, you're playing a game of ping pong with your body, and you're amping up its elimination efforts, and then you're dropping it down. And then what happens is your body's not going to have the energy to eliminate at some point. And this is where, disease and sicknesses and everything else starts to come in play, because those other toxins that are in the body's not able to eliminate properly because you've exhausted its energies by taking these type of supplements, by taking these different type of stimulants. And that's why I kind of say, like, you want to try to avoid the outside supplements because you're triggering a reaction from your body. The cayenne pepper does nothing for you, but your body responds and acts to the cayenne pepper. Your body is the healer. Your body controls and heals itself. So anything you take into it, it causes your body to react in a certain type of way. And the way your body reacts, it just so happens to amplify itself, and the blood pressure may look better at that given time, but eventually, when you keep doing this, you will exhaust yourself, and this is going to decrease your functional ability to actually eliminate other toxins, and they'll build up in the body and create other chronic issues, and you find yourself being overstimulated, and that can lead to other problems. So hopefully I ain't just blabber off too much. I hope we all digested all that. But that's one of them. Miss Marianne, can we use nutritional yeast in your salad? Yep, go ahead. That's definitely something that you can put inside of your salad, making a great salad dressing. I might make one again for us when we do a live. That way we can see how it all goes. How is the program for 45 days structured? Is it the once a week or please break it down? if I'm not mistaken, the program for 45 days, you may be talking about getting off of the pharmaceutical medication. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna go ahead and go with that one. So basically, how this works is for 45 days, you want to deep dive into these tactics and strategies and put your best foot forward when it comes down to making these changes. No salt, no oil, no sugar, getting exercise, applying some type of fasting, making sure you're going to bed at night, making sure you're working on your relationships and, incorporating, more movement in your day-to-day lifestyle. All those different strategies that are there, getting more sunlight. 45 days of hard nose in the dirt, in the field, working on yourself. That way, you get better at this strategy. You're implementing these different tactics and you're actually challenging yourself to step up. And what happens is the reason it's based off of 45 days. Typically, a lot of doctors say, I'll see you in the next 30 to 45 days and I'll evaluate you from there based off of what you're doing. So, other than that, those 45 days are really just you putting forth the effort in a structured way. That way, when you show up to your doctor, you got your notes, you got everything else that you documented your journey, and you've been implementing these tactics and strategies. The doctor's going to see the changes based off of the last time you were there and the lifestyle change that you're doing. And this will allow him to grade your overall health and be able to make a conscious decision to start weaning you off of medication, because the last thing he wants you to be is over medicated. Because when you're making lifestyle changes, this reduces your dependence on these pharmaceutical medications. And if you're still taking them while you're making these changes, you run the risk of hypotension, of being over medicated. And that's just as dangerous as not taking medication. So in 45 days, your doctor will be able to see these type of things and be like, oh crap, let me pull these diuretics from you, man, because your blood pressure looking good, these numbers looking good. Let me take these diuretics from you, or let me reduce the dosage of these right here too. They get to pull those triggers, and they kind of be like, yeah, my patient is doing good, and they kind of take the glory for it, but that's what the 45-day plan is all about. And that's one thing that we talk about in the high blood pressure challenge. So we'll talk about that as we get going into these other challenges, because the high blood pressure challenge, I'm going to also offer it to you guys directly so you can see what those 45 days look and feel like and be through this motion. I'll be able to coach you and guide you through those things and go from there. And other than that, I see a lot more questions. And a lot of them kind of just are basically the same. What can I drink instead of coffee? Start off with decaf. Go with green tea that's decaffeinated or things like that. Switch to a tea and things. You got to find the better version of those different things. Let's say if you're a heavy coffee drinker, switch to decaf. If you can't switch to decaf right away, reduce the amount of regular coffee you're drinking and cut it with the decaf. That way you're not getting as much caffeine as you once was, and you kind of dumb it down a little bit. So if you're having 2 or 3 cups a day, break it down to 1 cup, mix that 1 cup with some decaf, and that can help you start to wean it off and things like that. Because a lot of times when you go cold turkey, you'll find yourself having a fit due to the withdrawal effects of having coffee. So tea is definitely one. Green tea, even though that does have caffeine in it, you want to find one that's decaffeinated. That's going to be a little bit better. But, you got to find your soft spot with it. Those are some things. I don't really have a whole lot of options there because I really don't drink anything. I drink some juice, but I'm as plain and boring as it is. I don't drink anything. I might have a smoothie. That's probably as far as I go. But smoothie and juice and a little bit of water here and there, I don't really have a whole lot of options there. So, all right, last question, Miss Karen. What about garlic and ginger as a drink to keep your pressure down? Same thing. It causes it's a stimulation effect. So let me get into it. Garlic has a chemical inside of it that's called allicin. Allicin does a number of things, and one of them is that it draws sodium or water out of the blood and into the muscles. And this in turn actually causes a domino effect of other things to happen, but it has an overall effect on the blood pressure. So we have to understand, if you're drinking a garlic and a ginger and you're causing these different type of things to happen in the body, it's not fixing the problem. That's what you want to understand. Like, you got to understand that these don't fix the problem. You can drink all the garlic and ginger juice that you want. You're going to see a temporary number show up. And that Band-Aid over that temporary number is giving you a false sense of security that you're doing something right. Be like, oh, I drank this and my blood pressure is down. And you get motivated and you're happy about that, which is cool. But understand, as soon as you stop drinking it and it's out of your system, your blood pressure is going right back up and you're left back at ground zero with no understanding of how to fix it. And that's why we talk about these type of changes and these strategies that will allow you to actually build the lifestyle habits to naturally control your blood pressure without reaching for some type of stimulant to help you along the way. Now, I'm not saying that you can't use these to help you, but the better alternative would be to not need to take anything. I don't want to take nothing to handle my blood pressure. I want to live my life and not even think about my blood pressure. That should be the goal, right? Like, I ain't got to think about taking my blood pressure because I eat right. I go exercise. I'm not stressing. I'm managing. And you want to make sure you're doing all the little things right. That way your blood pressure is the least of your concerns. So those are the main things there. So other than that, I think I'm going to leave you guys there. I will be live again. I'm going to say not tomorrow because it's 4th of July. And I know y'all going to go ahead and enjoy your barbecue and all that good stuff. Some of y'all. Let me stop. But I'm not going to go live tomorrow. But I will be back Wednesday, and we'll be right in the mix, back at it, talking more about the 7-day fruit and salad challenge, and we'll get more in depth into these different vitamins and minerals to help you continue to move forward. So other than that, I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't signed up for the challenge yet, go ahead and click the link inside of the community. You got about 6 more days before it actually gets started, and I hope to see you all there. So with that being said, peace and enjoy yourself tomorrow.